When the new expansion launches, the basic and classic sets, League of Explorers, Journey to Un'Goro, Kobolds and Catacombs, and Rastakhan's Rumble will return to the arena. Let's talk about strong class cards that are leaving and coming into the rotation. Keep in mind that Arena is heavily based on common cards right now because you'll only see about 5% of the epic cards and 1% of the legendary cards in a draft. We will avoid talking about legendary cards as they're too rare to impact the meta in a meaningful way. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the Tempo Storm YouTube channel to keep up to date with our Hearthstone content. Now, let's begin. Druid, our token powerhouse, will look much weaker after the rotation. Druid is losing the Forest's Aid, Acorn Bearer, and Blessing of the Ancients from Rise of Shadows. A bunch of premium low-cost minions will be leaving as well. Essentially, what dominated Druid's early game curve will mostly be gone in the next rotation. The incoming card quality doesn't look too hot either. The best Druid cards coming back are Raven Idol, Tortollan Forager, Living Mana, and Branching Paths. With such a significant decline in card quality, we'll see Druid fall down the class tier list. Hunter is honestly at a lackluster spot right now in Rise of Shadows. Essentially, Blizzard balanced Hunter by giving them less premium cards, which currently reflects their win rate as one of the worst classes. Before this balance, Hunter could play a control style by outvaluing opponents with Mark Shots, Unleash the Beast, and Mech synergies. This will no longer be the case after rotation as we're seeing strong mid-range tools and premium weapons coming back. If Blizzard could reset the penalty Hunter received in this expansion, we would see a stronger, faster Hunter come back in the meta that has an advantage against greedy decks. Mage is currently one of the strongest classes. We have Conjurer's Calling and Fireland's Portal deciding games, Messenger Raven pulling Caligos, and a wide array of removals against the field. We will see way less premium common cards with the rotation. The best we're gonna get is Ethereal Conjurer. In a slower meta, Ethereal Conjurer will steal wins as you're able to get powerful mage spells that are typically not seen during the draft. Just to name a few, we have Blast Wave, Dragon's Fury, Meteor, and Primordial Glyph coming back. Once again, because they're epic rarity, you won't see them in draft as much. This is also the meta where elemental synergies are very real. Mage will have Steam Surger, Leyline Manipulator, Flame Geyser, and Shimmering Tempest, while a bunch of neutral elementals are returning as well. We expect Mage will still be a good class and a heavy mid-range archetype with elementals to shine. Currently in Tier 2, Paladin will lose a bunch of insane tools. Mech synergies will disappear, Muster for Battle, Coghammer, and Seal of Champions will also be gone. Argent Lance and Mysterious Blade, which provided early game initiative, will leave as well. Returning, we have Lost in the Jungle, Potion of Heroism, and Keeper of Uldaman. For those of you that didn't play in League of Explorers, Keeper of Uldaman was a premium minion that offered a ton of versatility. It has the annoying stats of a 3/4, which will kill the 3/3 minion it targets, but it can also buff your own recruits into a 3/3. This makes Uldaman effectively a 5/6 worth of stats for 4 mana, which is a sizable tempo swing. You will also see Spike Ridge Steed, Vine Cleaver, and Stonehill Defender coming back. Stonehill isn't a Paladin card, but you will see Sunkeeper Tarim and Tyrion Fordring pretty often from it. In terms of early game, it will be important for Paladin to prioritize 1-drops. Unidentified Maul will be a key early game weapon to fight for the board. As a whole, Paladin should be pretty strong in the upcoming set. We haven't seen the new expansion yet, but the trifecta of Vine Cleaver, Spike Ridge Steed, and Stonehill Defender gives Paladin a lot of endgame power. In the current rotation, Priest is in a state of limbo with a lukewarm kit of control tools. It tries to play the snowball mid-range game, but it solely depends on drafting HenchClan's Shadequill, Extra Arms, and Velen's Chosen. These cards will leave the set and pave the way for a rebirth of heavy control options. Priest will lose Light Bomb, but gain Psychic Scream, Mass Hysteria, the new Plague of Death, and Excavated Evil. As if Priest can't be greedier enough, it will also receive a bunch of late-game value generators. However, a caveat is that most of these premium cards are either epics or rares. In terms of commons, we're looking at Unidentified Elixir, Museum Curator, Radiant Elemental, and Tortollan Shellraiser. Not that impressive of a pool, but Priest simply needs to survive before outvaluing the rest of the field. We're very curious on where Priest will end up on the tier list. It looks like the class is set to be the king of control, but how effective is control going to be in the new meta? Moving on, we have the best class right now, Rogue. Valeera will have to say goodbye to a lot of premium early game tools. Sabotage and Unidentified Contract will also leave, but large removals will never be a problem for Rogue. In the new rotation, we have Walk the Plank and Venom Weapon and Vilespine Slayer coming back. Rogue will likely resort to being a slower mid-range tempo class that capitalizes on having good 3s, 4s, and 5 drops. Hallucination and Elven Minstrel is coming back for more refuels. This is also the meta where Dragon Moss Scorcher's in the pool, so Fan of Knives will likely be a weaker card of the new meta. As a whole, we will see a different Rogue after the rotation, but it should still be a strong class unless it gets adjusted. Based on previous balance updates, Rogue may very well be tweaked down due to its power level currently in Rise of Shadows. Shaman is the consistently inconsistent class. Right now, if you get your hands on the Walking Fountains, board clears, and early game weapons, you're set. If you don't, you lose to just about everyone. And then there are the Thunderhead and Underbelly Angler high rolls. If you draw the right cards, your draft feels unbeatable. If you don't, you're looking at below average Murlocs and a bunch of awkward overload turns. Shaman is losing all of the cards we mentioned for a much weaker pool. The common pool is incredibly fair. There's Reign of Toads, Crushing Hand, and Tunnel Trog coming back, and that's about it. None of these cards are premium, and the best Shaman card returning is Unstable Evolution. Sadly, with such a weak pool, it's unlikely Shaman will ever hold the board for Unstable Evolution to even go off. The class feels like it's one of the biggest losers with the upcoming rotation. But hey, you can explode the board with Volcano! Warlock is currently forced into the Zoo archetype that revolves around solid 1-drops, Evil Genius, and multiple spread options. The class is losing very little and gaining back a bunch of premium cards that enhance the Zoo archetype. Just from common cards, we have Kobold Librarian, Demon Bolt, Dark Peddler, and Vulgar Homunculus. Zoo looks like a way more consistent archetype after the rotation. The control toolkit looks a bit weak. Defile and Despicable Dreadlord are not back yet, and Shriek is unlikely to be that good in a slower meta. Warlock might surprise the field with one of the most consistent early game options, but it will need some finishers to get there. We'll be very interested to see what Warlock receives in the new expansion. Remember, when Demon Bolt and Zoo came together, the class was firmly at the top in Rastakhan's Rumble. Ever since the trifecta of Warpath, Super Collider, and Large Taunts left the pool, Warriors have been rock bottom. The problem becomes exacerbated when most of the premium cards are rare or better. Fool's Bane will leave the pool, and the best weapon we get back is Sulthraze. The class looks as forgettable as before. The best card coming back is Dragon Roar, but there are very few options to support the control archetype. We're looking at Obsidian Destroyer, Tar Lord, and that's about it. There are no effective board clears outside of Brawl, and Reckless Flurry is pretty unreliable. Even then, both cards are epic quality. Duskbreaker is coming back, so Dragon Roar can be a board clear in a pinch, but again, unreliable. We're not holding our hopes high for Garrosh, but maybe the new expansion will give him a premium board clear. As we suggested before, just have fun with the other classes instead. This wraps up our analysis on class cards. Paladin, Rogue, and Mage look very good, with Priest and Warlock possibly being the meta breakers of the set. Shaman, Warrior, and Druid will likely return as the bottom 3 classes. In the next analysis, we'll look at neutral cards and overarching themes that appear. Once again, expect a holistic analysis once all the cards are revealed from the new expansion. What classes are you looking to try in the next rotation? Are there any current meta questions you want to ask us? Comment below, and as always, like and subscribe for more quality Hearthstone content. See you guys next time.